Hello, it's Peter here again. I have 4 bottles here, going from tall and thin through to squat and shorter for them. Generally speaking, I would not recommend the very tall, very thin bottles. They're going to come above the way above the FluxWrap as such. So what you're looking for probably are the bottles, if you look here, that are in that size range. So we'll take this out and just put the FluxWrap here. So those are the type of bottles that you're looking to use, and you'll notice they are actually of different diameters. These two are about the same. This is smaller, this is about 3.3, these ones are about 3.5 inches. And your typical cup, which you'll often get here, this is about 4 inches, and this is designed so that you can fit directly inside, and that'll take either one of these here. Now this one, actually I got water in this one, you'll see there's a bit more room in here, and actually that has the advantage that you can actually store everything, including the FluxWrap, around that bottle and then go inside. Whereas with the other bottles, you're storing of your FluxWrap, you can't go, there's no room inside. The FluxWrap would actually store around the complete system. So here are the bottles, and they're going to go onto your pot support, and we've shown you here the triangular pot support. In the past we've shown it with the spacers being used. So the spacer goes on to your FluxWrap. You adjust that to the size that your FluxWrap is set at, and that's going to give you just enough height on here so that should you set the bottle, and I'm going to just demonstrate it down on here, set the bottle, you can, or your cup, you can in fact just make it wide enough and the air can still get out from underneath or exhaust out from, and not retard the fire by stopping the airflow. That leads to a very narrow setting on your FluxWrap, and potential there of some stability issues because now your FluxWrap is just here and tipping can occur. So if you're actually doing anything, you actually want to make sure that when you put your bottle on, you've got at least 1/2 inch. So I need to make that one a little bit wider. 1/2 inch at least between your FluxWrap where it comes up and a gap so that the air can flow around and up the side of your bottle. Now if you're doing that and you're leaving the 1/2 inch, you can actually get away with not using the spacers as such, and you can just put your FluxWrap, or rather put your pot support directly onto the FluxWrap, and now your bottle can fit on there. I'm going to hold it this way and still give you the airflow. There's no need for the spacer. The advantage there is, again, a stability issue. You're saving yourself a few inches in height, which gives you the width to height ratio reduced, which helps with any tipping issues. Also, it is that bit easier because you've got more flexibility here on putting on and taking off your pot support. And while we're talking about the pot support, we've been showing the configuration with 3, but you actually can configure it with up to 5. I'm going to take this one out and put it down here, and then grab one of my other cotter pins. and I'm just simply going to now put that one on. A bit more awkward doing it in front of the camera, but well. Slip that on. And now we have got it so that we can actually set up a 4-way cross, giving us a square in the middle. I'm trying to balance it on there, which makes it a little bit more difficult. A 4-way cross that gives us a little bit more coverage on the base of our bottle in terms of again tipping, and that would be placed on in a similar manner to your flex wrap. Put the one on, and then you're going to get it roughly to the size that you want while the rest of it's still loose. Then just put your other four feet on and just push those down as such, and then your bottle would go on. And there we've got about the 1/2 inch requirement. In fact, for these wider bottles, I would probably recommend that when we're going to roll up the flex wrap, then you probably take it out to its full width, and with a flex clip lock it in place at that point, just like that. Anyway, we'll come back and we'll roll up some wood and show you the completed unit and how it will look, and take it from there. Okay, we're back. Move my bottles out a little bit, give me a bit more space. Here's the flex wrap. You can just get it to lie flat like that. Normally it rolls up, but you can get it to just flat by a little bit of a tweak that way. And what you actually want to do with your twigs is you want to make sure when you're doing the twigs, no matter how large a fire you're having, if you just want a short burn, you'd only put your twig perhaps halfway up. A longer burn, 3/4, or even a full burn, going all the way to the top. But you want to remember that your flex clips are going to be on the bottom here. And so when your twig comes in, it's going to be the length, an additional portion here equivalent to the length of your flex clip. So when you're cutting the wood, remember about that length, because this is actually going to help support the flex wrap when it's sitting on the ground. The pegs will do it by themselves. You will get added stability if you use the wood. Having got that set there, I'm now going to cut the rest of my twigs to about the same dimension. I'll just bear that in mind. You just hold that one there and just sort of cut down. And so I'm going to keep doing that with my twigs until, and you can see they're not even always going to break at the same height. So when you set this up, this is going to be a little bit of a difference in the height here. When you look at it, when you're burning, you'll sometimes see some flames that seem to be further down. Doesn't look like it's gasifying properly, but generally it's the height of the twigs varying a little bit that's causing that issue. And you see we're getting a little bit of variation in the size of the twigs, even though we're trying to measure them. And it isn't that important that they're all the same height. You just roughly want them to be all in the same range. That one's It's maybe a bit too long. Okay, well, I'll come back when I've got all my twigs and we'll wrap it up. So back with the FluxWrap now filled with wood. And you can see here they're all about the same length, a range of thicknesses of the wood, and you want to try and interdisperse that as much as you can so there's a good even mix of thickness. And then what you're going to do is roll that up on itself, very much like you're squeezing up or rolling a taco. And we're going to then fix our clip here, and as I said, make sure that the spring is actually on the outside if you're using the version 2 here on there. And we're going to put 4 clips on, so I'm going to put one opposite over here, and then the other one's going to go here. Make sure the spring's on the outside. And place those down. And push my FluxWrap down. And push my wood down here as well, so that it's reaching down to the base and actually helping stabilize the unit. And if it was on ground that I was worried that there may be some sinkage because it's soft rather than being a firm base like I have here on this table, I would probably push these even harder so they actually go in the ground and act a little bit like posts to add to the stability. So here we have it, and then I can now add my pot stand here, 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 and here. All right, we're ready to go. You can see that one's a little bit high. I could unwrap it and take it out, but that'll burn down before I put my pot on it, so that will be fine. And just to show, at this point, I'm going to make sure, and I'm standing on that a little bit at the moment, that I've got my 1/2 inch, and I want to have that all the way around it. Once you've got it going, I can round up my other FluxWrap nice and tight, like so, and then I can use this as my pot skirt, windscreen. Just press that around at the height that I actually want it. And so now what you're going to do is the draft is going to come up all the way through. I'm not going to put that on until I've actually got it lit. Now, just to emphasize, without the spacers there, if I put a pan on that's bigger than that, I'm going to have no air outlet. So if I was going to use a pan on here, I'd want to make sure that I've got my spacers to lift this up to give me air to be able to come out of the side. Okay, just thought before I went to the burn site, I'd pull this piece of wood up that was sticking up a bit too far, and I've broken off a little piece and just pushed it back down so that I can actually sit. Oh, there's one more just here. It's a little bit too tight, too tall. I can sit that on there comfortably, and you can see here the 1/2 inch that we get there as we burn it.